I do feel quite nervous.
Okay. That's all right.
The women decided to put their seal skins on the rocks. They were selkie women, so they had the power to both be seals and women. And today they decided to enjoy their womanly bodies by dancing in the midday sun on the shore. And as they were dancing, they were really enjoying feeling their female bodies in the sun, and they were beginning to gain momentum through dancing and laughing and singing, and they started to feel really safe together. And as they were dancing, the fisherman on the top of the rocks was on a walk, and he gazed upon them, and he spied them on the shore. And he was so enthralled and fascinated by them because they were so beautiful and they were dancing so beautifully together that he decided to go and creep and get a better look. So he kind of crept down the coastal path, and as he edged closer, he kind of started to fall more and more in love with the selkie women, and he finally realised that he was actually special enough to be able to get close to these selkie women. He'd never seen them, but he'd heard about them. And as he edged closer, he saw one of the seal skins lying on the rocks, and something came over him, and he just decided, I'm going to take this coat. I really, really want to experience a selkie woman. He had this lust. And as he kind of edged closer to look and gaze more at them dancing beautifully, his foot slid on a rock and echoed across the cove. And the women, startled, looked and saw him, and they felt terrified, so they put on their seal coats and they jumped back into the sea. And one of the women was frantically looking because she couldn't find her coat, and he knew that he was holding her coat. And he kind of started to edge away, and she saw that he was holding her coat, and she ran up to him, pleading, please, I need my coat, it's part of who I am. I can't just be a woman, I'm a selkie, I need to be a seal and a woman, both together. And he felt so lustful that he just needed to say no, because he wanted to experience her love. And so he decided to keep it, and she had to follow him because he was holding part of who she was now. And so as they kind of walked back up, the fisherman and the selkie woman kind of decided then that they had to start a life together, because he decided to keep the selkie coat close to him. And she slowly felt that she had to embody this role and this life as being a woman with this fisherman. And they slowly fell in love, and they had children, and that role as being a mother was something actually that started to slowly fill this void that she had of not having her selkie part of her. And her children really, really fed her. And she even started to find solace in the love that she had for this fisherman, because they had a beautiful life, and at least she could walk along the coast with her children, even though it was painful to see the sea and then another part of her home. She was comforted that she at least had this job and this role to fulfill her life, raising these children. And one day, as she was gazing out onto the sea, one of her children came up to her with this old kind of tattered coat, and she saw it instantly, and she knew that was her selkie coat. And she was overcome by this big choice. Does she stay with these children who has given her so much, who has made her feel almost whole, or does she put back her skin, her selkie skin that's a part of her and who she is as a selkie woman, not just a woman and a mother? And she thinks for a few days and nights, looking out into the sea. It's a really hard decision for her, because it's about continuing in the future of her life with her children, or it's about going back to her past and to herself and to her full self, her selkie and woman self. And so one day she's sort of kind of overcome by this impulsive desire to just swim into the sea and feel it on her seal skin, not on her human skin. And she decides to take that skin back that her children have found and to slip it back on and to jump into the shores of the Atlantic Sea and return to her selkie self. I did just pause it then. Yeah, I felt really nervous actually, and like I think because I was watching everyone else doing it, I was kind of like, oh, the way they spoke about that was really smooth, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to say mine as smoothly as that. Like, so yeah, I felt quite surprised that I managed to actually finish it, just about. Yeah, I feel quite like flustered actually.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
tomorrow.
Candy. See you
Can I leave my
tomorrow.
slippers here?
Go for it. Okay. Yeah, lovely slippers.
That was really good.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Annie. Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank you for today. It was
Pleasure.
Bye.
Yeah, really like your telling of it and seeing the story on you. It's like, yeah, it really works. It's a good story for you. And yeah, what I'd like to know from the beginning is whether I want to know, and this is a problem I've always had with this story. Is he innocent and curious, or is he a fucking creep?
Yeah.
And I think that you need to be, the teller of this story needs to be really sure and needs to know him well enough that we feel, you don't have to say whether he's one or the other, but in your characterisation of him, you do have to be quite sensitive with that.
Yeah.
And one thing I thought while you were telling, could you explore, and I think, you know, if I were to tell this story, I'd probably try this. He finds the skin, but he doesn't tell her he's got it.
Yeah.
And they meet, and she's looking for her skin, and maybe he helps her look. So he's deceitful, but then I just don't. I find it really hard to believe that she would fall in love.
I know, and have children.
Yeah. So, but maybe in that because also it's a story of ambivalence. Like, she wants to be in love with a man. She wants to have children. She wants to live on land.
Yeah.
But she's also half seal.
But you know, also it's funny in the I just read a version that was that I'd never heard before, and it was at the end the selkie swims back and he sees her and runs after her, and she looks up to him and she's like, I always preferred my first husband more, which is really gives you a whole idea of she knows how to fulfill this mother's role, so she kind of did that, but she was always in love. I don't know about change, but it was quite interesting that end bit.
But we don't know whether that first husband might have been a seal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of guessed that it was, but true.
Yeah.
No, it's your mate Billy Dunn.
Yeah, I actually prefer him.
Just something to play, just something to think about. And then he keeps the seal skin, and she doesn't. She just thinks it's lost.
Yeah.
And then when the child brings it to her, she's like, "Oh my god, he's had it the whole time."
He's had it the whole
and
time.
then it gives her extra anger to be like, "Fuck this, I'm going." You know, you could try it. Yeah, I don't know. Or if that doesn't, see what you think. You have really good embodiment, Luna. You bring the story into the space with your body, and that's a great skill that we can definitely draw out more and make more defined.
Yeah. When you were saying about them, the women became they through dance and laughing together, they felt joyful and safe. I really believed that in that, and it's and so I didn't actually catch the storyline that she kind of the main person, she did want to fall in love with somebody. So maybe that's an area that can kind of expand.
Yeah. You could feel the pleasure in the pleasure of what they were experiencing through your movement.
Okay.
Yeah, you were a selkie.
Cool.
Yeah. You have got those seal eyes.
And also I was thinking about that kind of that split that it's like she wants both. She enjoys both potentially, but how does she have both?
Yeah.
That kind of that conflict.
Is there a version where she gets it for a day or something, and but she always has to come back?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
where she gets a certain amount of time.
I'm sure I've heard this story where she can go in the daytime or the night time, but every day she has to be back.
Yeah.
Because she turns.
There
or they do a deal or something.
Yeah.
You can have it as long as you.
That's cool. There are so many versions, and I'm a bit like overwhelmed by them as well.
Or maybe her kid gets the seal skin.
Yeah.
And that's the wolf woman that I was telling you about, which is there's a Croatian version which Sharon Blackie's with. It's like the same sort of with the wolf woman, and then at the end of that, the husband's really mean, and then when she gets the skin back, she and the son turn into wolves and.
Yeah, maybe her children should
eat them up.
Yes, I don't really know what I want to say with it. Like, I kind of like want to say that, like, obviously I'm not a mother and I don't have experience, so like I don't know whether I'm wanting to talk about, like, I don't know what my angle is yet, I think, with like what I want to say with it. Like, maybe I want to talk about like, I don't want to bring this like idea of like femininity and like being too essential with that, but I'm also wanting to kind of bring this idea of like some of the sacrifices that you do have to make as a woman sometimes. But I don't know, like.
What?
Maybe you can explore, you can play around with try different versions and see.
Yeah.
What was it that drew you to the story in the first place?
I don't really know.
I mean, what you just said there.
Yeah.
That like, I don't want to do this, but I sort of want to do. You embody the selkie story. She is about ambivalence. She is about holding the tension of two things that you want, or something that you want but has a flavour of something you don't want. So you don't want to do. That is the selkie story, and you know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you because I know I can say that because I know you. But like, and we all know that.
Yeah.
We all have that. So maybe it's just like really showcasing this like. How do we hold two things simultaneously, and with that there is like a loss, and sometimes we have to choose, and sometimes we have to like, take a direction in our life that shuts loads of doors, but we have to always move forward. I don't know.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really great.